And he ran off the road and killed someone. And that was a very, very, very terrible accident. That was a very terrible accident. And his wife was almost killed. His wife was injured and all of that. So it's very, very unfortunate what happened there. And that was one of the craziest accidents. I believe they should put barriers, whether be it cable or solid barriers or the concrete pillars. I think the entire highway should be lined with those barriers so that persons just can't leave from one side of the highway. You going down your merry way, you within the limits of the law, you follow the speed limit, and then bam, a man that's flying to you and kill you. That was very, very unfortunate, but I'm not sure the government the authorities are able to put barriers throughout the entire length and breadth of all our highways. But it was unfortunate. There was a pedestrian element in that accident, and very, very unfortunate. So the nurses are calling for talks with the government to get their things in order, and they want their salary paid correctly. They want to be paid the appropriate amounts of monies, and that is what they are calling on. You see here, Dr. Chattergoon begs nurses to end action because people's lives are at risk. Because the doctors have to be doing what nurses are supposed to do, and the doctors aren't able to concentrate on their jobs. The doctors can obviously do the nurses' jobs. It's just to take pressure and administer medications and so on. But that'll be double booking the doctors. And then there are some nurses who have to stay, who have been forced to stay, and their overtime money will be amazing, especially if it is applied correctly. Because one of the arguments the nurses have is that they're supposed to be paid time and a half, double time, and triple time. And they're being paid a flat salary when they're working overtime, and that can't be right. The government can't be making laws and compelling companies to pay these laws, and when the worker in the company take the company to task for not paying these things, they are given remittances through the courts. They win their cases, and then the government now do not oblige their workers with proper payment in the proper structure. As I was saying before, I worked in a company that have some partnership with people in England and so on, and they pay strictly everything by the law. So they will move mountains for you not to work triple. Once they realize you're going into a triple time situation, because they know they have to pay. So by the time you make triple time, you make $1,000 already. So they're not paying, they're not doing that. So they will do everything not to let you work a triple. And this is what the government has to do. The government has to get things in place. They have a lot of nurses trained. I used to be around the Nurses Association there. And there are a lot of nurses there every day, going through one of the CEOs there would have made it possible that you could reset the nursing exam 12 times. Some people didn't appreciate that, but he did what he think was best for the nurses in Trinidad. If you fail the exam once, twice, 3 times, you could go back 12 times to make sure you pass that exam. And that's another reason why these guys have to be paid. Because some of these nurses, in some of the areas that they are in, they are not very far away from doctors. I was warded in the hospital for about 3 months. And in my fresh young self, I was very friendly with a couple of the nurses. And one of them today is a doctor. I had a girlfriend in Charlottesville. Her auntie, right? Her auntie was a nurse and went to be a doctor. They just continued studying. So there's a lot of studies. And these people are professionals. They are not and even our geriatric nurses are professional in their own little way, because they have to know how to care people and when to turn them and so on, and when to change them and so on. Right? They need to be treated as professionals. You understand? And if it is that they have to be paid a certain amount, please, government, get the act in order and pay the people professionally, because that is why They always have need for nurses because they are leaving. When I went to Miami, I visited a nurse house in a development 10,000 times better than my sister development. And she was a nurse. And she was in high demand. High demand that she could have afforded a very expensive house. She was very hardworking, but she had the money to pay. You understand? So when you get training, the good training, instead of you retaining the nurses here by paying them appropriately, they are very easily tempted away. And they are gone. And they apply themselves out there and make their money and come back here. Because you are not paying the people appropriately. Teachers start getting 5%, but no back pay. They get a raise. They get a 5% increase. Easy to do. There is only 5%. 5% at 10,000 is small dust. Right? But the back pay, no back pay. Again, back pain. That's why you have protests again. So like two different set of protests. Now, what this could do now? This could give confidence to the other unions. Because everybody thought, or everybody was saying, because it's our SOE, you cannot protest. But I said on this program some weeks before, Trinidadians will find a way to protest at SOE and stopping nothing. So the government feel they could hide behind SOE to avoid the embarrassment of a protest. Think again. And then PSA had to stay quiet because they're up in the arms of the government. But certain things they get in the back pay in bonds and all of that, they want the cash. You understand? So I hope that they don't protest against the government. I really hope they don't. But let's see how it goes. You understand? Let's see how it goes. Then we have some guys here feeding the poor. Hunters feed homeless while meeting South. Now, there is a school of thought with this feeding the poor, the homeless. And now, on one end, you will think that it is charity, it is charitable. And the next end, a man might say, well, boy, I play the fool because you can get wild meat to eat as a vegan. So we have to be careful. We have to be careful. And in some places, it is illegal to feed a homeless person because they want to inspire that person to get off the streets and back to reality. You know, but 6 or 1/2 a dozen the other, we have to help those that need help. And a lot of people do charity work, and that is very good. You know, and it is nice of them that, you know, within the confines of the law, I don't think they're supposed to have the wild meat available when the hunting season closes. And if they have a surplus of wild meat and they want to get it off their hands by giving it to the less fortunate, I guess that's not too bad. We go on now to Clico. Clico collapse now over 1.2 billion expense to state. And this thing is ballooning. That is a lot of money. Now, Clico is a financial institution that when this whole thing, when the Clico bubble burst, Mr. Patrick Manning was the Prime Minister of this country. And it was stated at that time that if they do not assess Clico and leave everything to fall flat, it will cause the government much, much, much more. And we are seeing that there's much, much, much more. So I hope that Clico can get their act in order. I hope that Clico can start to sell policies again. I hope that can happen sometime soon for the sake of the company, because the company has, as we have had persons from the institution with us on this program, the Shareholders Association. We had a representative here on this program, and he was saying that there are a lot of good and healthy stocks. You know, they are very good with that. They have a lot of assets, you know. So I hope that the Clico can go back to the glory it was, you know, back in the day. It can come back to what it used to be and be a powerhouse again in the insurance industry and also in other industries, you know, petrochemical and that kind of stuff. I hope they get back to their moorings. UNC without a permanent headquarters after 37 years. As internal UNC matters, I have no comment on that, except to say they should have had some place by now. By now. People bawling and screaming relative describe chaos at Mount Hope. So Mount Hope is in a serious situation at the moment because Mount Hope is the biggest hospital we have here in Trinidad and Tobago. At times when my mother and different relatives are there, and you have to walk from one end to the next. It's a lot of walking. Even to drive, it's a lot of driving. It's a really, really big place. And Dr. Eric Williams would have constructed that, I think, with the help of the French, would have helped construct that hospital. And he envisioned something grand that will help. But I think Trinidad and Tobago have outgrown Mount Hope because they don't have a day you go there and it don't have problems. That's why it have problems in Mount Hope. They don't protest. It have problems. No matter where you go in Mount Hope, whether it's pediatrics, I feel I'm going to train, whether it's the women's hospital, whether it's emergency, women's emergency, it always has some little issues. I mean, they have improved there. I am not saying no. They have improved over the years. They have improved and they make the things, the place nicer, the air condition, some areas, where sometimes the public, when you're waiting for assistance, you have to sit there and wait. Sometimes that place used to be hot and steamy. Now they put AC units and so on. So they have done things along the way to improve the situation in Mount Hope. But I think the main thing they need to do is employ more doctors and more nurses and more staffing, right? Because there's a lot of moving parts there in Mount Hope, and they need to improve on that. They improve on the infrastructure part of it. So, for example, the Women's Hospital under Dr. Khan, when he was the minister, Minister Khan, he would have seen about the women's part of it, put up a whole women's wing there, and then under the last one from the previous government, from St. Joseph there, he would have improved certain aesthetics in the hospital, So everybody tried to do the little part, bring it up to, but they need to employ more nurses. And you can't come now when they have an issue and there's such a force nurses there, you'll cause more problems. Because you need those young nurses need to be have to be trained. They need to understudy nurses that are more experience than them. You just can't throw them in there in a baptism of fire and people's lives at risk. While my mom was in the last time my mom was in the hospital there were young nurses there assisting with the oxygen. You could see they didn't know how to just to clip in the oxygen hose. They didn't know how to do that. They go and get somebody to show them. So just to throw people in that situation that just come out of nursing school or apply after finishing nursing school and just throw them in a situation where the experienced nurses are not there. That is not a good situation. That is a recipe for disaster. So the government has to be very careful because you'll just create more problems. That's what you'll do. You'll create more problems. Do not risk your life. Go tell patients, seek care. Don't risk your life in them place right now because you don't have enough nurses. You see? And you seek care somewhere else. Go private. Go private for the hour. If you have the money, go private. Then we had this unfortunate incident here. Prior president dies in second fatal accident. So we had the one from earlier on where the van crossed the road and destroyed that guy's life. And then we had this young man, he unfortunately had a heart attack and he ended up now hitting into some cars from behind and he passed away. And it's very unfortunate. A heart attack can happen to anybody at almost any time. And right, a heart attack can happen to anybody at any time. And it's very, very unfortunate when these things happen. And we just have to be more careful. So this is the Guardian headline of that same story. Cab driver dies after heart attack crash. You see, so when we are in nation's roads, any number could play. That's why you always have to cover yourself and make sure that you are anointed so that you won't end up in any scary situations. Yeah. So this is the big accident here where the young man and his wife was injured. And this accident here, where the guy crossed the median and hit the white car there. So the TDE, it looked like that van, it's like TDE. So that's a relatively new vehicle, but have flipped and crashed into this Kia vehicle, they're saying. And the guy, he died instantly in that accident. He was impaled, and the jaws of life had to be used to get him out. And these big vans sometimes have a lower center of gravity than the lower vehicles. I have driven those big vans already, and you feel it. If you're not an experienced driver, you won't know. If you go down a corner and you feel it drifting, you have to let the tires take up the grip. And being 22, because the driver is 22, that is a relatively inexperienced driver. And this is what is causing a lot of young people driving motor vehicles who are not well experienced. This is why insurance companies will only cover if you are 25 and older. So I don't know if this TDE vehicle have young driver coverage, because the family now, this van now, may not get any coverage with this fatal accident here because the driver is 22. What if he wasn't authorized to drive that vehicle? What if? So we need to get the facts on that. So he's a young man, and when you are young, the insurance company is looking for any loophole not to see about you, not to pay out. But this guy, the white car, the Kia, they would claim against his insurance because obviously he was wrong in the accident, and the car could be repaired or written off or and whatever, where the insurance part of it is concerned, because no amount of money could bring back the deceased and the pain and the suffering that the wife had to go through. I was seeing a headline where she was saying that he was right there, and the next minute she was a widow. It is crazy. And the barrier situation, we need to bring back the barrier situation to help save lives. Whether be it cable, I don't believe the cable is the best thing. It might be cheaper. I'm not sure if it is cheaper, but we need solid concrete wall. There are some solid ones made out of aluminum that they put that is sometimes very effective. We need to get some of those back up and running, because even though a lot of people are now driving within the confines of the law, within the speed limit, because of the harsh fines that this government has implemented, a lot of persons are still flouting the law because there are not enough police officers. We don't even have a dedicated highway patrol. The few highway patrol officers are on motorcycles, right? And what they drive around doing is to watch to see if you have on a seatbelt or if you're on your phone, right? We don't have a dedicated highway patrol that will stand up in a corner every day to time and to see if you're speeding. Is once in a while they will come out to do these speed checks at certain times in like a Sunday morning, and the place how much cars, and you know you want to keep a chance around the highway fast, they might put out a speed check with the speed gun and so on. But we don't have a dedicated highway patrol in the real sense, like in other countries. A dedicated highway patrol will serve as a deterrent. Because if when you pass there, it's have a man riding, you're slowing down. I mean, you go down the road, it's have a next fella riding. You're slowing down. If even you don't want to put out all that money for vehicles for a dedicated highway patrol, use technology. Use technology. There are camera systems out there that can detect when a car is over the speed limit. You stop a picture, you stop the speed, and you mail the ticket to the culprits. And people behavior will change over time. People behavior will change. But we here, we playing games with people's lives here. We're not consistent with anything in Chantabeo. We are not. Every day some foolishness happening and we just not consistent. Every day decisions being made and they're just not applying the laws. Sometimes when this thing with the driving came out, everybody was slowing down, but now everybody realized that the government can't enforce the law, and they go back speeding again. I'm not saying that this accident where this young man was speeding, we have no proof of that. What we have proof of is that somebody attempted to cross the road, and apparently he tried to swerve, and being an inexperienced person, an inexperienced driver, that's probably why, I'm not sure, but that's probably why he lost control of the van. And that resulted in him being critically injured and a man losing his life, a young businessman. That car came right in on the guy's face. I saw a photo of the guy before they took him out of the vehicle. He was hit with the full force of that vehicle right on his upper body and his face and so on. Luckily, his wife survived the ordeal. So the government has to step up. They bring a set of laws, and now when you look on the roadways now, it's like people now are starting back to run hard again because they realize they are not implementing the law. So you bring a big fine with no implementation. It's like if it have no law, and people's lives are being endangered. And let's see if we get some barriers, as this guy is rightfully saying here. Let's barrier down the highway, whether be it with barrels. Barrels with water is very effective. Tires, those are very effective. And they have a lot of old tire all over this place. The government could easily mandate all tire shops to deposit all their waste tires in this place. Don't put it in the dump. You have to carry all tires in this place here. And this place now will take it, the Ministry of Works will take it and put them together with tires and water barrels and make barriers without having to spend a certain money and put on tire and water barrels. I have seen some places here in Trinidad and Tobago that if you miss and you only take your eye off the road, you run and head on into a culvert, and that will split your car in half. They need water barrels in these places to cushion people. The amount of different places they need to bring in an expert to see that if a car lose control in this point and he end up sideways, that has happened to me already when rain falling under pressure again from work. Go down so our body is down so go, we need a photo for the front page and he running like a headless chicken and come around a corner and I lose control of a car and almost lost my life. Thank God for no little wittiness, and I pulled the handbrakes and went around the lamppost instead of going and bearing up on the lamppost. I skid around the lamppost and continue on. Luckily for me, because I watching the post coming towards me right by the driver door, right by my side. That post hit me, I done. No more workers again. You see? So we have to put things in place that can help save guard lives on the nation roads. We have some new highways, the Point Fortin Highway. It's a very long stretch of open road. It's almost like the Autobahn in Trinidad. Because when you go down there, guys pass you really fast. And there is not a police, a motorbike, a highway patrol nowhere in sight. The other day I went down Point, and when you come back up the road, not a car to enforce a speed limit, not a camera, nothing of the sort. So you know what? Men gunning up the road. And in 2 2s, when you get in that, go on that highway from Western Day, In 2 2s, you reach Marbella. So you cover the road real quick. You see, so we need to put things in place. I think we could use all the tires we have from all those various tire shops and put those tires to use and help save people's lives. It's just a suggestion, but it's one that could probably work. Devan Maharaj back in the news. Heritage lost salary appeal. So apparently Devan Maharaj um, had sent Heritage a document asking to reveal the salaries of certain persons. And apparently this matter was before the court, and they have now lost that appeal, and now Heritage has to share the salaries of certain persons who work in Heritage. I'm not sure when this thing started, and if it has reached the Court of Appeal, that would have been some time ago. So now Heritage has to declare who was paid what at Heritage. They tried to hide, but the court has sent back to Heritage documents stating that they have to comply with the Freedom of Information Act and reveal the salaries of persons who are working there. So Mr. Maharaj is known for doing things like that. Now we see 6 deported. Public told, check who living among you. And this is the Venezuelan situation, where we see this woman was brutally kidnapped and was being trafficked back to Venezuela because she did not know who was living amongst her. These criminals are such a... You know, there was a commenter, there was a guy on Facebook I used to follow. I haven't been seeing him around lately. But he had warned us about these Venezuelan people. You know? He had warned us about these Venezuelan people. You know, but it is very difficult. They come very nice, they come calm, and they put on a nice smile for you, and they develop a relationship with you. And the next thing you know, is a bandit or a gondoliero from Venezuela you have living amongst you. And by the time you look to ask them for rent, they hops you up and put you on a boat to carry you back Venezuela and demand ransom. And it's not one person to take ransom from, not 2, not 3. A lot of people have been disappearing in Trinidad and Tobago. A lot of people have been taken. That is a very serious matter. So my advice to persons that have little money and things, have less to do with Venezuelans. Because of the fact that you don't know where they're coming from, who is them, what they're about, what they're doing here in Trinidad, what they're running from, who they're associated with, what they used to do back there. They could tell you anything. You have no way of knowing there's a language barrier. You have no way of knowing. Why are you running from Venezuela? And the Maduro is no longer there. Why? Go back home. I'm not saying that they are not honest Venezuelans, you know. But how you will know? How you will know? There is no way of knowing it. So my approach, my friend, is okay, all right, you stay, hands blank away. I do. Quarry operators want meeting with ministry. But there's been a lot of murdering and killing in this quarry operation business. I don't know what it is with quarry operating in Trinidad and Tobago. Why these guys have become so bloodied. I don't know. I heard Ian saying, next to drug trafficking, the most dangerous work is quarrying. And there were people whose... I ain't go down there. I ain't going down there. No? I ain't have my right hand to guide me around, to pull me back from the edge, because she's not well. So let me ain't go down there. Good news now. Sawa opens for business amid rapid growth, says MP. Yes, the Sawa area, there's the Icon Mall that they cut down. There was a whole area there when you drive along the highway on the left-hand side if you go into Port of Spain. That was just razor grass and elephant grass. And somebody acquired that portion of land and they have put down a new mall and businesses are booming. There are a lot of businesses that are around that general area there. First there was G4S and Amalgamated and I think a few others. and there were a few others there already. But and then they started exploding businesses, a lot of businesses inside there, hardwaring and so on. So the whole Sour area where businesses are concerned, it is very strategic because it's right there by the highway. It's easy for you to go to the west, to the east, to down south, to central. So it's a very strategic area, and more businesses are opening up there, especially in that Icon Mall. And I'm seeing the minister, the MP for that area, the member of parliament for that area, Mr. Hussain, is working with a businessman. Apparently, he's opened some new gym, and this is good. And this is take care of the health of people because the amount of fast food places have opened in that same area there. There are about 3 or 4 different places you could go and walk into one area and have about 6 different things to eat, 10 different things to eat. And some of them are very, very professionally done. They feel very nice and secure. You have sushi, you have barbecue, you have roti, you have anything you can think about. You just park your car there and you can just take your pick. Here you go upstairs for sushi, you come downstairs for Chinese, and so it is. So we are going guns here in Trinidad and Tobago where new businesses are concerned, and especially Ichu places. Those Ichu places are doing very, very well. They have even a spin-off business from the Ichu places where people are now doing something called food drop. Instead of delivering people, delivering food. And a lot of you make a good living just doing food drop. Just imagine you making $400 or $500 a day delivering food. That's a big industry, and you have multiple drivers making that kind of money every day, working at 12 hours, at 8 hours, at 10 hours, however you choose. You can come on whenever you want to go off, whenever you want, you know. And it's very, very interesting. And in Trinidad and Tobago, we have all of these things going for us, you know. It's very good. Our economy, in spite of what they are saying, our economy is still doing very well. I will say so. I will say so. Kamala vows to give Shouter Baptist a secondary school. That is very good. Education is the key. And I think if she could get them a secondary school, that would be excellent. If she can make it happen, I think this guy, Mr. Cummings, was trying to do that. And I believe in Ms. Bissasa's previous incarnation as Prime Minister, they would have given them a primary school up at Maloney, if I'm not mistaken. So primary, secondary, next, after they do the secondary, they have to get to university. Of course, or a college, or a trade school. Come on, think big. Let's see what else we have here. She warned him. Mother speaks after fatal shooting. Now, this guy here is from Tobago. And his mother would warn him about lying on the block with those guys. Those people are up to no good. And you know, I used to frequent Tobago in my younger days and so on. In my diving days, I used to be going up to look at the coral reefs and so up there. And I observed back in those days, I'm talking about probably 15 years ago, I observed that a lot of the young people in Tobago started to gravitate towards marijuana. At one time, I had a discussion with some of them up at Signal Hill. And I said, you know, if you guys go down this road, murders will increase in Tobago. They'll watch and they'll laugh. Today, gangsterism is taken over Tobago by degrees. Drugs is not the way, my friends. Drugs is not the way. And marijuana is a gateway drug, even if you're smoking it and if you're selling it. Right? Because nothing could sell faster than cocaine. Okay? And I will sell out every window, every brick in a house to get another taste of cocaine. You understand? So when you guys decide to go down that road, my friends, and go more and more into marijuana and so on, people first, PM after Sunati Mirage. Apparently, Sunati Mirage wrote a piece, and Kamala Secondary School is coming. reaffirms commitment to Baptists. So she is showing up the Baptist vote, right? And the Commissioner of Police, Varro, apologizes to spiritual Baptists. So apparently, they wanted to have a little protest, and they were told they can't. So he had to give a little apology for Baptist there, and that was nice. No fixed date on VAT refund. Now, this is a very serious issue because when businesses pay their VAT to the government to use that money to do whatever the government has to do, the government, the businesses has a legitimate expectation to get the VAT returns. And if the VAT returns are not returned in a timely manner, it stymies the development of these businesses. You have been hearing businessmen talking about that for years and years and years about VAT returns. So, Mr. Tanku, I mean, I know you played full, eh? You had to look for money for teachers, money for nurses, everybody want the money. But you get people the VAT return from a piece, eh? Organize. Patients at risk as NCRHA grapples with nurses shortage. So them nurses and them running rampant and the nurses and them in the news. I'll take a little break here. And a little bit of a song here. Right. The nurses and them are under pressure. I know Isaac to break the monotony. Night nurse. Let's move on. I locked actual stolen as family terrorized by invaders. The same thing going on still in this country. People breaking your place and thieving your vehicles. It's not easy, my friends. It is not easy. That so many times that we have to be talking about home invasions in Trinidad and Tobago. It's not a nice situation at all, at all, at all. This is why sometimes you find that people end up taking matters into their own hands. Look at what happened here. Wheelbarrow ride to St. Joseph Police Station. They catch a fella stealing. And they hog time, put him on a barrel, and roll him down to the police station. People are getting fed up. Right? People are getting fed up. And the bandits are getting more brazen. Just imagine in Sawa. Look at this headline here. Officer robbed at Sawa ATM. A police officer, a TTPS member is robbed by an ATM machine. It is amazing what is going on in Trinidad and Tobago. It is seriously, seriously, seriously amazing. These bandits don't care. And the police probably was in plain clothes, yes, and they didn't know he was a police. And luckily for them, he was not armed, because I'm sure if he had his firearm on him and he had the upper hand, he would have put some uses his firearm and defend himself. You know, this kind of situation in this country is just going more and more and more haywire. Homeless man gets 16 years for killing street dweller in botched robbery. Eh? Crime again. The homeless and all participating. The homeless and all. You look at CARICOM. Barbados ambassador to CARICOM. Trump presidency causing fractures. A very serious allegation he's making. He seems to think that the policies that the Trump government is handing down is could be causing problems within CARICOM. And my theory is, if I may share it with you guys, is that some persons, some countries in the CARICOM tend to hold on to socialist ideologies. And I think that may be causing some problems because if you watch what's going on, the Trump administration or America in itself don't want to have nothing to do with no socialist communist ideologies. I may be wrong, but I believe this is one of the issues that is causing a rift within CARICOM also. Right? WASA must revisit security measures, says Augustine. Now, the persons that in Tobago are alleging that persons would have come and vandalized the installations and Tiantec. If you watch Tiantec, every Tiantec substation has a CCTV camera in it. Why not WASA? Because you have very, very evil and wicked people out there that they will come and vandalize your place. Some people come there, they take the motors, even in Bamboo Settlement. Ministry of Works had placed a pump to pump out water if the river overflow, right? But they leave the one where everybody could see them, and they went with a boat and they chase away. Men with gun, went in Bamboo and chase away the security guard and burn down the pumps. The government replaced the pumps, but they are very malicious people in Trinidad and Tobago for all different kind of reasons. They do things in the certain infrastructure. They realize that nobody by this pumping station here, they go and do foolishness. So Fali is right. They should all whether be it WASA, telecommunication sites, all by the last time I woke up on to this place, the arena, and Hollis, especially Hollis. If you watch how Hollis is built, Hollis Dam, Hollis Reservoir in Arima, well, it's really Valencia. I have visited there a few times, and one time I walked straight up to the reservoir. That thing is so tall. They have all kind of cameras all around that place. They're playing one day to do all kind of any foolishness. Because if you detonate something there, the whole of Arima is going to flood, kill a lot of people. Okay, up on a hill, one, and two, that thing tall up in the air, holding back a lot of water. Right? For the businesses of Arima and the surrounding areas, Valencia, and all of that. Right? So all of these places are supposed to have serious security. If you have miscreants here and terrorists here, when I look and I watch all that place, I say, Jesus Christ, no wonder that I have cameras here. When the wrong people get access to that place there, to do real bad things. So similarly, all of your utilities, not only Tiantec, WASA, your telecommunications, all of these places should have heavy, serious CCTV monitoring and security officers patrolling on the site to maintain the supply of water and electricity and communications and so on. See? So what else we have here? Your child father stabbed me. Man, final voice note before death. Crime again in this country. The woman done with you. The man going to visit the girl. She have a new man, she have a new boyfriend. She will move on from you. You see the man get vexed, total feelings. Kill the man. Now you on the run. They're going to lock you up sooner or later. You still are the woman. You kill the man for nothing because the man is doing nothing. The girl done with you. And the girl still going to get a next man again. Foolishness. Or because you're ignorant. You know why? He's a weak smoker. I could bet you any amount of money. You always on the weed. And I always end up doing some kind of foolishness because your mind is not clean. Your thoughts are not pure. Right? So you see the man there, again a fitter rage, and stab up the man and kill him. Well, that's good, yes. Fighting for woman, right? Lessons from Dr. Williams, 45 years on. The amount of lessons we had to learn. The amount of lessons we had to learn. You know who embarrassed Dr. Williams? Them same nurses. So the same pressure Dr. Williams was under. One of the things that grieved Dr. Williams is them same nurses raise up the skirt and show him their butt, their bum bum, their behinds. And that fella started to grieve from there. He said, after I do all of this thing for people in Trinidad and Tobago, that's what the nurses doing me, right? And no matter what leader in power, whether it be Kamala, Dr. Rowley, Dr. Williams, Pandey, you name it, people in Trinidad are very ungrateful, you know, my friends. No matter what you do for them. People in Trinidad and Tobago are very ungrateful, especially the leadership. Especially the leadership. Mark my words. A lot of lessons we had to learn from Dr. Williams. And I remember my dad talking about that. I wasn't really around. I vaguely remember when he died as a little boy, right, as a toddler. I vaguely remember that time when he died, right? What? My dad used to tell me the stories of what used to grieve that fella, the founder, the father of the nation, right? Now we have a woman leader who's trying her best, in spite of what? And people now are protesting hither to Danyan. As we close, let's see if I could bring up a little bit of this for all you know. As we close, but that is the end of the news, my friends. Let me see if I can bring up a nice little tune as we wrap this one up. Right? As we wrap this one up. Not this, no, not that one. Oh, I think I had a video here to show you of the There's the protest of the nurses here this morning in Mount Hope. They're getting on bad. There are plenty of videos online right now where they're walking all around Mount Hope and they're all in black. Apparently nurses came in from all over all different sectors and they went up there and have been doing their marching all around taking a bit of Isaac again, you know.
Cause there must be something she can do. This heart is broken in two. Tell her it's a case of emergency. There's a patient by the name of Gregory. Night nurse, only you alone can quench this your thirst. My night nurse.
Oh. Well, they could do what they want. Could say what they want. You could do what they want and say what they want. He's staying on the group.
If Trinidad is a boat sailing on the earth, I go sail on it. Oh Lord, I go sail on it. Whether it fast or slow, wheresoever it goes, I go in with it. Tell them I go in with it. I go sail when the tide is slack. I go sail when the tide is near. If she goes sailing with the boat, sink or float, a sailing with the boat, a sailing
Yes, my friend, I sail on the boat. What about you? I said on the boat, come sink or float, we staying on the boat. But here is our home. Whether who's in power, who's in government, I'm not abandoning the ship. We have to stay on the boat. All right. So this is the program for today. We don't have any interviews because Anika is not well. She's on 7 days sick leave. So I'll be carrying on the program. Anika will be with us in the background, monitoring and making sure I don't step too far out of bounds. And she helped me out today because my mic was off. All right, my friends. So until tomorrow, 3 p.m., today is my daughter's second birthday. So I have now to go and enjoy a birthday party for my little baby girl.